here if we need to use them. Just pop them in when there's a French question.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Delighted to be joined by the two captains from Europe and the United States for the first press conference of the 2018 Ryder Cup. Jim, Thomas, a warm welcome to you both. Jim, if we could start with you. You were here a year ago for the Eiffel Tower stunt, which we did to mark the year to go. Now we're in the Ryder Cup week itself. Just give us your thoughts. Now your team has arrived in France.
No, I think it's exciting. It's been a long time coming. I think, the year probably, to feel like it was plodding along slowly and then maybe got a lot quicker here in the last 4 to 6 weeks. So, but it's exciting. I think, to get the team on the plane, and there's a buzz in the air last night, and flight made it here just fine. I think the guys got some rest. So it's nice to be here, and obviously a long time coming. So, just looking forward to the week.
Thomas, same question to you. So much preparation has gone into this week. Just give us your thoughts now the week is upon us.
Yeah, no, we're here. It's been 18, 20 months of hard work, and as Jim says, the last month or so has just gone so quick, and now all of a sudden you're sitting in the situation on the Monday of the week, and now all your plans and preparations have to live its life this week. But everybody's here, everybody's happy, everybody's in a good place, and two great teams. So I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic week for everybody involved, and just looking forward to it. Really, very, very much anticipating what's ahead of us. But looking very much forward to this week.
Thank you both. We'll go straight into some questions. If you could raise your hands, we'll start with Doug on mic 2 on the left.
Jim, how much did Tigers' win contribute to the buzz on the plane last night?
I'll tell you, we had, we were waiting yesterday. We had, a major victory for the team. We had a whole group of guys waiting in the team room, and then, a giant roar when Steve Stricker walked in the room after his victory last night. It was fun to see Bo Strick play well in the Champions Tour and rush over from South Dakota, and then obviously Tiger play so well at the Tour Championship, and to grab control of the golf tournament early and kind of fend everyone off. I think it was a good buzz in the team room. A lot of the guys stayed out there at the course to congratulate them, but nice to have those two guys play so well and start us off pretty well this week.
Question in the middle here, if we could get him. We'll go with you, John, and then microphone across, please.
Jim, could you just explain logistically, where was the team room? When did you take off? When did you land? How much sleep have you had? That sort of stuff.
So we had a team room at the Renaissance Hotel real close to the airport. I think we were supposed to take off somewhere around 10 p.m. We probably didn't get in the air until about 11:15 last night. We had dinner at the hotel, so everyone that kind of wanted to get a nice meal in could, and had an opportunity to get some rest, especially early on the plane. I fell asleep quite early, actually, but we made up a lot of time in the air. Getting off to about an hour and 15 late start, I think we were probably only in about 15 minutes late, and I think we were on the ground by 12:45, something like that. So quick turnaround and nice police escort to the hotel. So the guys were there, settled, trying to get ready for the week.
We've got a question in the middle on mic 3.
Jim. Hi. Mickelson, Watson, Reed, and Koepka finished last in the Tour Championship with, I would say, poor performances. Does it worry you in a way, or?
Well, just as we had, as you mentioned, how they played last week, we also had a lot of players play very well last week. The way I look at it is, in my career, I've played very well in practice and had rough tournaments. I've had bad practice in some events and went on to win those same events. So last week is kind of behind us. Of course, I think everyone would like to be in good form and feel good about their game. But it's a different golf course, different venue, totally different type of golf tournament coming into a match play event, a team-oriented event, and obviously with the big galleries, just totally different atmosphere this week. So I think both Thomas and I will pretty much try to get a feel in practice for how our teams are playing, and early on in these matches, you'll get a real good idea of whose game looks like they're in top form, and try to work your pairings accordingly.
We're going to go on the right-hand side to microphone 1, please.
Hi to both captains, I guess. It's been a busy end to the season on both sides of the pond. Obviously, there's still more to go in Europe, but you mentioned the good players at Eastlake. Are either of you worried about fatigue from the likes of Tiger, Justin Rose? They put a lot into the end of the season. What are your plans in terms of, I suppose, patience and pace through this long week here?
Do you want to take this one, Thomas?
No, I wouldn't. They're top athletes, and they know this week has been coming around for a long time, so they'll have it in the back of their mind that this is coming. And one thing I learned about the Ryder Cup is that no matter how tired you are, you're going to carry yourself and everything, all the last bit of adrenaline you have in your body, even if you have played a lot. And achieving big things obviously takes a little bit out of you, but they'll carry themselves through this week because they're top athletes, and this is what they've been looking forward to probably the most all season. So not worried.
Yeah, this event's a bit of a marathon in its own right, and I think the players you mentioned, the Tiger or Justin Rose, I mean, they've played in so many of these. They understand the physical and the mental demands of this event, and they'll pace themselves. They'll prepare accordingly, and the trick for us, not knowing the golf course quite as well, is getting that preparation in and learning the golf course, yet also trying to conserve some energy and get ready for some possible 36 holes on Friday and Saturday.
We've got a microphone 2 on the left, please.
It's for Jim and Thomas. Can you talk a little bit about, what kind of effect Tiger's win could have? I know it's a completely different animal, what took place this past week and what will take place this week, but just maybe energizing-wise for your side, Jim, and what do you expect, Thomas, out of that? Just any kind of a potential factor this week.
He's played really well all year. I think been knocking on the door at 2 majors, had a number of opportunities to win this year, so it's obviously a nice buzz for our team. But just the I guess the amount of attention and the buzz around the PGA Championship, around the Tour Championship, the crowd on the I still think of it as the 9th hole of the 18th fairway yesterday was amazing. So I think that it obviously brings not that this event needs much more energy or that brought to it. It's probably the biggest, the grandest event in all of golf, but it'll add that much more excitement, I believe, and it's exciting either way, but it adds to it.
I spent 25 years playing professional golf with Tiger Woods on the scene, and anytime he does anything great, that's a story, and that's where we want to see him. We want to see him at the top of the game. He does so much for the game of golf, and I watching that last night, and I thought it was brilliant to watch. It was great for the greater aspect of the game. Coming into this week, these are 24 of the best players in the world, and this tournament is what it is. And it has its history, it's a great battle, and it is 12 against 12, and that's what we're looking forward to. Tiger Woods for the game of golf and him winning golf tournaments again is something that's brilliant, and I think we all benefit from it, because in the end, whatever it is these 24 guys are going to do this week, the game of golf needs that boost of somebody like him that transcends the game to the masses, needs him at the top of the game. So for everyone in golf, it's brilliant.
Got a question on microphone 4 at the back.
Jim, I was just wondering if you could try and sum up the scale of what Tiger Woods has achieved, bearing in mind where he was a year ago or so. And also, do you think that, bearing in mind what he's been through over recent years, we'll see a slightly different Tiger Woods at this Ryder Cup to the one that perhaps we've seen at previous Ryder Cups?
Let's attack that. That was like 2 or 3 questions in one. So let's attack that in parts. What was the first part again?
Just try and sum up the scale of his achievement, bearing in mind where he was a year ago in coming back.
I think you could see it on his. I think you could see the emotion, him talking about fighting back tears. I think even the arms in the air, the fists in the air, it was important to him to win. When you look at now comparing maybe past Ryder Cups to this one, I think what's so special is Tiger has ingrained himself in our team atmosphere and became such a big part of the team in 2016 as a vice captain. and then again in 2017 as an assistant captain of the President's Cup. I think it's special for him now to kind of join these younger players, as a teammate. But, what's important to him right now and what's special for him is to be a part of that team, to be a part of that group. And as Thomas talked about, it's a 12-on-12 type of atmosphere, and I think he really enjoys that right now. He won yesterday as an individual, and I know how much that means to him and how important it was. But he's flipped that page pretty quickly and is really excited to join his teammates and move forward in that process.
Okay, on microphone 3, I think it's Neil, is it?
Yeah, Thomas, a question on Tiger. The way his current form is bringing in, is he a player to be feared this week? And will winning against him be worth feel like an extra point for the Europeans?
These are 24 of the best players in the world, and when they go up against each other, they're all capable of amazing things on both sides. We don't fear anyone because we played against them so many times before individually, but we respect our opponents and know what we're up against, and that's, I think, is the key to all of this. We'll go out and do what we can and play our game, and what stands on the other side we know is one of the strongest American teams of all time, and we know we've got to play our best to come up against this team, and that's what's in front of us. We don't hide behind what we are and who we are and what we do together, and that's what it's all about this week. We do what we do as a European team, and then we'll go out and take that on a golf course, and that's all 12 Americans. It's not one individual, it's the whole team that we're up against.
We've got Phil on microphone 1.
Thomas, it understandably went under the radar with what happened yesterday, but how pleased were you with Sergio's performance in Portugal?
Pleased. I was pleased for Sergio. I think he felt like more than I felt like he wanted to get out there and shoot some good numbers and feel good about himself on the golf course. I know what Sergio stands for. I know what he brings to this team, and I've said it all along. He's an integral part of what we are and who we are. So that's what it is, but he will be happy with what he's done this weekend, and he came in here in good spirits and with a big smile on his face, and that's what he will send on to his teammates.
Question in the middle on microphone 2.
Yeah, but Thomas, that was part of my question, which is, like when you pick Sergio, part of the calculation was he will have a month to rest, he will get back on his game, and do you think he has delivered? And can you comment a little bit on your conversations with him in the last couple of weeks in preparation for the Ryder?
I think with Sergio, Sergio's the type of guy that he sometimes needs that little boost of things going. He feels like things is going his way, and I think the conversations I had with him leading into picking him and I've had after him makes him feel like he's in a good place and his golf is moving in the right direction, and I know the values of him as a person, and now he wants to get out on the golf course and show what he's capable of. We all know that Sergio at his best, he's one of the best golfers in the world. So he's in a good place. He's got a big smile on his face, happy, and he just can't wait to get out there. And like all of them in this team, they're really buzzing about this Ryder Cup coming up, and they want to get out and play golf. And he's no more than any of the other 11, but he's also very much a big part of what we do, like they all are. And I'm delighted with the conversations I've had with him. They've been positive, they've been great, and he knows what he's doing, and he's in a good place.
Microphone 4 back left, please.
Jim and Thomas, I know you guys have put in a bunch of work on partnering guys up and talking about how you're going to do that. How much will the preparation of the next 3 days factor into those partnerships?
Jim?
I think it'll have a little effect. I think we have a pretty good plan of how we'll partner our players up. I think, I think we have options in some of our pairings, and some of that will play out in the next few days. But I think we're very comfortable with kind of a game plan and who will play together and in what formats.
Yeah, I'm a little bit with Jim on that. I think you prepare yourself, 80-90%, and then you know there's a few little bits that can move as the week progresses. You know, there's a lot of things that can happen with the players and to the players in a week like this. So, you know, you're in your mind, you're very set on where you want to go with it, and you know, something uncharacteristic has to happen if you're going to change it. But you know, pretty much set in your mind where it's all going to go.
I'm going to go microphone 1 on the right, please, Rick.
Jim, a couple of years ago, Rory got a fair bit of abuse at Hazeltine. Ian Poulter said he gets verbally abused every hole at the US Open. Do you think you're in for a hostile reception here, and have you talked to your team about that?
Oh, I mean, do I think we're in for a hostile? I don't think. No, I don't. I think that you know, there were some fans that were unruly at Hazeltine. We did the best we could to remove some of those fans. I think the majority of the fans were there cheering for their side, and that's what I would expect to see. I've always admired the European crowd, the fans here, the support of their team. I admire the way that they band together and you know, can be louder as one with the songs, with the chants. They seem very unified and together. And I've also felt like when I tipped my cap at the European crowd, acknowledged, you know, like give us a wave on the first tee, and I feel like when you tip your cap and give them a smile and acknowledge that you understand, you know, what type of fan they are, I've always felt kind of a mutual respect. So, you know, I know they'll be loud. I know they'll be boisterous. Obviously, they'll be cheering for the European side, as we would expect. And it's definitely an obstacle. It's part of that home turf advantage that Europe will have this week, and it's something my players have to respect. But hopefully they enjoy. Hopefully they thrive in that. And you know, there's a time when you can be on the road and feel like it's, you know, a small group of us versus a large group of Europe, and sometimes that can bind you closer, and sometimes you can kind of rally behind that. So I'm hoping that these players have that in them, and I do really admire the European crowd, and I know they'll be loud, and I'm anxious to see it.
Microphone 2 in the middle, please.
Yeah, hi, question for you both. I just wondered how you'd sum up your roles this week, and what character traits you have, and what things you'll take from your playing career that will fortify you for this role, and what's ahead this week.
Thomas?
I think it's for others to probably answer what they see us taking into the week. But you know, I feel like in my role with these players, it's all about them. You know, I've always taken a position in where I've been on tour and in the Ryder Cup teams. It's always been about the 12 players. It's about what they do, and you know, I'll stand behind them, I'll support them, and I'll be that person that is with them all the way. But it's about them, and at times, you know, you got to lead, and at times you got to say, well, this is the direction that we're going to go. But we do this as a group. We're one team. We're one group of people that has one goal. And so for us, for me, it's a situation of just getting in that team room and getting them out on the golf course and do what they do best. My role is to be the support and the leader and lead them in the right direction where I think they should go.
Jim, same question.
I thought it was a wonderful answer. I guess I would add to that by saying we've had a number of experiences, both as players and vice captains in this role. I think you take bits and pieces from the captains that I've admired before me, and obviously we've learned along the way, and we'll both lead in our own character, in our own way, and draw from those past experiences. You know, I really felt like I was taking notes along the way as a young player, hoping one day for the opportunity, and I'll try to draw from all those experiences and add bits and pieces to this year and this team. And you know, as Thomas said, it is, you know, it's never going to be about the two of us up here with the way we look at this golf event. There are 24 of the best players in the world here. It's about them in this golf tournament, and you know, our role is a support role to help lead and maybe point them in the right direction.
Question for you at the back.
Hi, for both captains. Do you intend to play all 12 on the first day if you can?
What's your strategy on that, Thomas?
Yeah, what do you think? You know, that's, you'll have to wait and see, won't you?
Microphone forward.
Jim, what?
I think you'll have to wait and see. I thought Thomas was very clear.
I don't think it follows on from that, but it's a question for both captains. How important are the practice rounds in terms of determining your pairings, which obviously you've got an idea of already, but judging the compatibility of players with the course and that kind of thing? How important are the practice rounds over the next couple of days?
I think from our perspective, and I'm sure same with Thomas, we have a pretty good idea of who we believe is compatible, who could play together. There's some options. For us, I think really these practice rounds right now, and Thomas has got a few guys who are running on a bit of jet lag. I want them, these next 3 days are very key for us, I think, and very important in practice to get to know this golf course, to understand as best we can the ins and outs. You know, I think 6 of my players have played the golf course before, 6 haven't. Maybe pairing some of those guys up that have and have not to kind of help them around the golf course the first day. But our preparation for the next 3 days for me is key. And I was always a guy that I felt broke down golf courses in a nature trying to learn, like at a major championship, trying to learn a golf course in 36 holes and be very prepared for that round on Thursday. That's what we're going to have to do, and the European side is going to know the golf course a lot better. They've played the French Open here. They've had a lot of success here with the past two champions and a number of top 10. So that's one of the things we have to overcome in that preparation. And learning this golf course first is most important, and the compatibility and learning how that'll work into foursomes and four balls will also help as well.
Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, we're here to, you know, we want to get out on the golf course, and, you know, as much as we played this golf course before, it's a golf course that's there this week, and, you know, things change and the conditions are a little bit different than they are in June and July when we play French Opens here. So they want to get out there and get to know the golf course. I'm with Jim there. You know, I think we both have a good idea in our minds where these teams and pairings are going. And as I said before, it doesn't mean that they can't change, you know, over the next 3 days. But I think I'm pretty clear where I want to go and where we start, and then we go from there, you know. And that's, I think, as a captain, that's where you want to be. You want to be in a situation where this is my plan, and then you got all sorts of different plans coming after that. So I'm in a good place with my pairings, but as I said before, you know, you're prepared at, you know, 80-85% of what you want to do, and then, yeah, a few things happens over the next few days.
We'll go to Mike 2, Doug.
Jim, Bubba didn't have the best experience last time he was here. Have you done anything ahead of time to kind of prepare him for any reminders he might get?
He had a great experience because he was playing a practice round with us. But the last tournament he played here at the French Open, I think, you know, I had a discussion with Bubba. I think he really enjoyed Paris here the last time. He enjoyed being in France. I think he has nothing but good things to say and revisit. And it was a long time ago and a much younger Bubba Watson. And I think he's really going to enjoy this trip and enjoy the Ryder Cup and enjoy his teammates.
I'm going to go to microphone 1 on the right-hand side, Jeff.
Do either of you have a policy on social media that you've set forward for your teams?
You know what? I don't have anything like hard written or hard stance of what we can and can't do. I kind of find that during these events, I don't see a lot of our players on their phones and on social media and on. They're such busy weeks. I think at a regular tour stop, I see guys in the family room and dining area, and they're flipping through Twitter or social media, and I guess now it's probably Snapchat and Instagram for a lot of these younger players, but they're flipping through and looking for news and ideas and fun stuff. At this event, I see the guys together more, and I really don't see them on their phones that often, and I don't see a lot of phones in the team room, so I don't really have any policies per se, other than, I mean, you obviously want to keep everything straight and narrow, and I think social media is great when it's fun. But past that, you know, I don't really see any issues or concerns.
I think a young player today, you know, it's such a big part of their lives. I think if you put restrictions on what they can do and how they live their lives, it changes them a bit. So, you know, I have no problems with social media, but as Jim says, you know, it's obviously a high-pressure week and a sensitive week, and I'm sure they, on both sides, would respect that. You know, but social media is part of a sportsman's life today, and you can't take them out of that. You wouldn't have anything to write about, so it will be it'll be a bit of a problem. So I think that needs to be part of it. And you know, in the bigger scheme of things, it's great for the game of golf. You know, so you know, there's a lot of things that plays into it, and obviously, as a captain of the European team, you try and protect your 12 players and what they do. But I think I'll do them disfavour if they can't use social media. So I'm sure that you'll see a couple of posts here and there, but as long as they stay in the right place.
I'm going to go microphone 2 on the far left, please.
Thomas, have you looked out to coaches in other sports to get their perspective in how you do your job? And I had a quick follow-up as well.
Maybe.
Please.
No, you know, if you're looking for an Alex Ferguson story, no, not in that sense. But I got people that I know that that work in sports and work with young people and do it from different angles that I spend a lot of time talking to about how to deal with that. You know, as a player and living an individual career, it's easy to think that I know everything about this role, but as you get into the role, you obviously realize that, you know, this is not the life that you lead normally. So you might ask a couple of people what they think about different things, but if you're looking for somebody that's famous and has done it at the highest level, no. But I've looked to people that I trust and that knows me and taken a lot of help from there, and I feel that's put me in a really good position. So I'm happy with where I am as a captain and how I can lead these 12 players.
When you make your picks and your pairings, do you do it through analytics or based on how guys get on with each other?
There's a lot of factors that plays into that question. You know, there's so many different things that you take into account, and you know, you try and make the best from that. And as soon as you move one player to somewhere, you know, everything moves. So you've got to look at so many different things when you put your pairings together, and it's not one specific thing, but it's a bit of a puzzle when you sit down and do it. But in the end, you know, that big picture that you have of things starts coming through, and you have a lot of time to think about it. You know, both Jim and I have been in this for a long time, and I'm sure Jim spent as much time as I have waking up in the middle of the night thinking, well, this works and maybe this works, but that big picture comes through that time, and I'm glad I've been in the role for this long, because it's given me a chance to think about it and rethink all the things I wanted to do, and that puts you in a very confident place of that you've gotten to the right decisions now, and now it's just go.
Going to go to microphone 1 on the right-hand side. I think Martin.
Yeah, a question for Jim. You guys from the US haven't won on the European soil for quite a few years now. Is it an extra motivation for your players, or is it some kind of a burden?
I'm not sure I quite got that. When on European soil for a few years, is extra motivation for your players? Well, we're reminded of it quite often. I started to be reminded of it, you know, about the moment I took this, you know, opportunity as captain. So, is it extra motivation? I'm not sure you really need extra motivation in a Ryder Cup. I think the idea that you grab the 12 best players from the U.S. and you're going to play against the 12 best players from Europe, guys are excited and anxious. And obviously, I think, you know, there's a thorn in their side that's been the case, that it's been since 1993. And, you know, there's some veteran players that have played on a number of these teams that have never won on foreign soil. And that's, you know, that's a part that's missing in their careers. So they're anxious to get started. And you know, it's not anything I need to mention in the team room. There's not like a big 25 sitting in there anywhere. They're well aware of it, and they're well aware of how difficult it is to win in Europe. And you know, that's the battle we fight this week, and it's a strong team. You know, Thomas mentioned it. This is probably the strongest American team we've ever had, and I would venture to guess it's maybe the strongest team Europe's ever fielded as well, from top to bottom. So it was a very deep team, and they play well together. Be a tough week for us, but we're looking forward to that challenge.
We have a microphone two at the front, please.
Thomas, Pultz, I think, was the first guy out there on the range today. I just wonder if that was a bit fitting, and how much he's chomping at the bit, you know, to get after this.
Yeah, I think he wanted to go midweek last week if he could. He looks forward to this. We all know Ian's history and feelings about the Ryder Cup, and you know, he wanted to get out there. He came in yesterday, and you know, he was ready to go, and he just felt like he wanted to get out. And you know, those guys that come in early, they just want to familiarize themselves with everything, and once they're here, yeah, they can't wait to get on that turf on the driving range and hit a few balls. And you know, he was just he felt like he wanted to get up and just hit a few. And yeah, he's that type of guy. You know, he's certainly ready to go. And no, it was nice to see him taking it on and feeling like that was that's something he wanted to do. But he's excited, like, you know, they all are when they get in. And you know, he had a little bit more time than everybody else, so he got in a bit early. So that's natural. You know, those guys that came in from Americans, they're a bit tired, and they just want to get this day over with, and then they're ready to go tomorrow.
Question back right on, I think it's Cara on 3.
Thomas, have any of your 12 players never played this golf course before?
No, I think they all have now. Sergio hadn't played until he played in the summer here in the French Open. I think they all have played the French Open here. We've had some good runs on this golf course, but this is a new week, and you know, this is about something completely different than when you play a French Open. This is about what you do as a team, and it's about trying to win this trophy back to Europe, and that's what they set out to do. And it's a completely different beast, the Ryder Cup, than playing in a regular tour event. So they're pretty excited about it.
Okay, any final questions? Okay, well, gentlemen, thanks for your time. We wish you both teams well this week.